Whew. Okay, there we go. It's out of the way. It's over. It's done. 2024 USL Championship regular season. It's out of there. Phoenix Rising finished it in, I will say it was spectacular fashion. 4-1 loss to Louisville City on the road. A quite well-worked opening goal by Jearl Margaritha in the 8th minute was all for naught as a Wilson Harris brace in the first half, coupled with 2 more goals in the second half, sent Phoenix Rising under. This loss puts them firmly in 8th place in the West, where we all know what that means. Mr. Owen Evans and company will be traveling to New Mexico next week to face number 1 seeded New Mexico United in the first round of the playoffs in the West. But hey, we got this match to talk about firsthand. I am Max Simpson. Of course, as mentioned, I'm joined by the one and only Owen, the Oracle Evans, live from Louisville. Owen, has it hit you yet?
Has what hit me? I'm going back to Albuquerque.
There you are.
Max, are you coming to Albuquerque, mate?
Come on. No, I'm not.
You know what? Here's the thing for this one. Given how critical I've been of Albuquerque, I'm going to give this is the opportunity, I think, now. I'm going to say this. Jearl Margaritha is a big guy on that food in New Mexico. Okay. He needs to give me a restaurant recommendation to change my mind about that place.
I can give you a recommend.
I don't want yours. I want his.
Whoa, I got great taste.
You agree that Albuquerque's not good?
I mean,
I'm challenging.
There's a couple spots that aren't.
No. Speaking of not good, Phoenix Rising out there tonight against ALLCITY. It was one of those games where I feel Rising just again couldn't find ways to convert many of the chances that they did create into goals. And that's the story of an entire season. What you see on the other side there is Louisville City, a team that do have ruthless strikers that create those chances and then bury them. And to me, that tells the story of, I think, where this team is at in general, where some of the better teams in this league are when it comes to consistently getting things done, and why Phoenix Rising isn't in that list at the moment, and why they're sneaking in the 8th seed out of the West. It wasn't the prettiest of matches, but again, it is what it is, right? I mean, we weren't expecting a win here. It was almost my score prediction of 3-1.
It was
except for that goal right at the very death. But I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, we will have to see as shifting the microphone over here. Right. I mean, listen, it's
you're having fun with that microphone moving it around.
I wouldn't say having issues. Just we're why not test drive a new microphone right as our post game show, as producer Shane is absolutely gonna love this. But right, we got everyone in the chat. Fat Kid in the chat, McSquared, Shane, Benito's Bluebird, everyone in there. By the way, of course, reminder: no free ads, guys. But we do appreciate the recommendations. Make sure to send them to Owen offline. No, but lump him in the chat. I'm just not gonna say him. But no, right. This was one of those matches where Phoenix Rising, I mean, it's pretty much what we can say from the offensive standpoint. I will say this, right? That goal by Jearl Margaritha, it was one of those where that was one of the best well-worked team goals of the season. I think, right? Even the most skeptical of Rising watchers really can't argue against that. It was decisive. It was a beauty, it was coming off of Louisville corner kick. Thomas Underhill does a great job checking back, holding it up, a beautiful cross-pitch pass over to Jearl Margaritha. He holds it up well. Might have been a shout, as you mentioned, Edgardo Rito, Power Rito running onto it, and you thought he was going to finish it. Heck, you might even thought, as you're watching it, is he going to bungle this chance? But no, he lays it back off. Jearl Margaritha scores the opening goal 8 minutes in. And listen, we knew that Louisville was going to come back. We just did not expect that to happen from Rising so early. It was a nice moment.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where you have pace on your team. Take advantage of it, right? You know that Jearl Margaritha, you know that Edgardo Rito, those are guys who are going to bring that injection of pace into those wide areas. And so if you see a team that wants to overcommit on set pieces in the way that City did in that one, yeah, you absolutely should make them pay for it. And to me, that was the thing that surprised me the most with that is we've seen this team countless times this season be presented with opportunities and fail to take them. Pretty much everything there, and yes, there were the offside shouts. I'm not sure. I mean, there was also a half shout, to be fair, about the actual ball through to Jearl as well. He may have just been behind the ball, but again, it wasn't. It was tight. None of these were particularly clear cut, and obviously the broadcast angles are what they are. You're never going to know, I think, definitively if they're on or they're off. But it was just well executed. Look, last time we came up here to Louisville, we saw a quick break, and we saw it was Lamin Jaune in that case, who had the opportunity, and as you know, because the game ended,
Woof. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we the opposite of that today, and that was a good moment of quality, I think, that you will need going forward, especially playing good teams now in the Western Conference, playing those teams up around top of the table. That's the kind of just capitalizing on your chances in the way they did in that one, especially early. Give yourself something to defend. Don't fall down. Give yourselves a lead to defend. Now, obviously, City are.
Uh-oh. Drop the mic. You dropped
Yes,
the mic?
I didn't even drop the mic. The XLR cable just kind of fell.
No.
Weird. But look, it was one of those moments where just from Rising's perspective, if they can do that in future games, they can find ways to capitalize on those chances. They're going to give themselves a good shot.
Yeah,
But you have to do that with regularity. You
you
have to be
do.
able to see when there are moments, say, where the opposing team are going to allow you to take those opportunities.
Yeah.
You have to take them. Speaking of which, I did speak with Diego Gomez after the match. I asked him about if he was expecting to see Louisville kind of overcommit and open up the opportunities for counterattacks in that way that they managed to score the goal off of. And here's what he had to say.
We talked about it. We knew, like in previous game, they have only left one on the back, so we know, like, let's see what they do. If they left one, we knew that we were gonna keep the 1v1 and try to hurt them in the counter attack. It worked out for us this time.
Listen, it worked out for them. I mean, right, we know the offensive prowess that Louisville has, what they can do, what they commit moving forward. I mean, we're going to get into that very shortly. But, you know, I do want to say this, right? And going back to, you know, Phoenix Rising does need to have those types of attacks with more regularity moving forward. We have kind of had the conversation of, right, we're not saying that this team isn't necessarily built to play on the counter, but we'll call it what it is. We haven't really seen them at a consistent basis threaten teams in a traditional attacking sense where you're necessarily trying to build up through quality possession, force those moments, get in, you know, your number 9 and key positions and all that stuff. That has not happened at a regularity, you know, right? Again, for all we're always going to say where it's hanging in the rafters, you know, possession FC, they're always going to win that battle. Hey, spoiler, they won it again tonight. But for all of that, it doesn't always lead to quality changes. I think, like, as you mentioned, the speed that they do have on the outside, the fact that they do have a player like Jearl Margaritha, where, hey, again, you know, he has the goal, you know, could have had the assist if Margaritha was selfish, you know, with it, but, you know, ended up scoring that attack. You want to see that happen more often, and especially with the playoffs where I think space is going to be more at a premium. Teams might be a little bit, you know, right, if it gets later into a match, knowing that Rising has a suffocating defense, you may not always have those opportunities. You're going to need to find ways to get it done that way because I just don't see it happening, breaking it down traditionally. We haven't seen it up to this point. Why do we think it's going to happen again to New Mexico and onward?
Yeah. New Mexico is going to be an interesting game. We'll get into that later on. And obviously, we'll be speaking about it all week long. But you're just going to have to find ways to, I think, just be. Look, I remember tweeting one in the first half where Edgardo Rito had an opportunity, and yes, the goalkeeper makes himself big there, but you're just going to want that chance back. You have to be clinical in front.
You got to be ruthless. You got to be absolutely ruthless.
But Right, and that's just not the Phoenix Rising I think we've seen pretty much all
Not this season.
season.
No.
Louisville are that team. There's a reason they scored 4 goals today. There's a reason that they are pushing all those kind of records on goals and wins and everything. That's who they are. They did again today. And I mean the first goal in particular was one of those ones from Wilson Harris. Look, I from chatting with Diego afterwards, some of the things that came up in that were, yeah, there are things you can do in terms of you do need to probably stop the cross earlier on. You need to find ways to not give him necessarily as much of an opportunity there. But that man just created that from
He did.
nothing. I mean, the touch, the finish, it's
Beautiful turn, everything like that.
yeah.
I mean, it was class. I mean, listen, it's kind of one of those things of, right, you can boil it down to a great individual effort, and that's going to happen. But the other reality is, you need to in those moments, especially given where the cross happened, where it was so far out and there was a lot of depth behind it. You cannot, when you're in the 18-yard box, especially near the 6 where that was, you cannot allow that much space to where you give him time to turn. Now, granted, it was a quick turn, it was skillful. I'm not going to take away from it. It definitely, to me, was a case of a better attack rather than poor defending. But that being said, shouldn't allow him that opportunity to really get as clean of a shot relatively as he did. So, I mean, that actually kind of leads into the question I was going to ask you, right, from your perspective is, Phoenix Rising, we already know the attacking liabilities. The defense has held up by and large. This is by far, without a doubt, this is the best attack in the league, and it's not even close. Are we worried about this 4 goals conceded going into a playoff match against New Mexico, or do we think this is Louisville? They were going for it. They did, and this is kind of a one-off. Chat, let us know as well about
the way I'd put this is that, again, I personally didn't expect Phoenix Rising to come in here and get a result tonight. I don't think anyone really did, because again, this Louisville team are legit. They are very, very good. And so, yeah, when you talk about conceding 4 goals in one like this, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you lose by 1 or by 8. Goal difference in this league being what it is, something way, way down the line, and especially against a cross-conference opponent like this, where it almost never comes into play. And frankly, Rising needed a win today to even give themselves a chance of doing anything seeding wise. Yes, you take a little bit of a battering, it'll harm on confidence. Yes, I think there are still questions. While the team broadly defensively is good, there are still questions, there are still weaknesses, there are ways you can find to exploit them. Louisville did so to perfection today, pretty much. Obviously, Rising is suffering without Pat Boy being available for this one due to injury.
Yep,
so there is no update on that one, by the way. As Diego about, he's keeping his cards close to his chest on that one. Understandably, he wants to leave it so that New Mexico don't know what they're preparing for. But there's no update at this moment in time on Pat Boy. Not having him available, it's not that... Look, Mo Traore, very good player defensively. We've seen what he was capable of doing in playoff run last year. Pat Boy has been just an immense force, I think, at the back. Injecting pace at times. And again, Mo has pace. It was interesting, actually, on this one to see, we spoke about this last week, didn't we, with the way that Memphis created their goal and the fact that you had Ale kind of over on that side by Emi Quaisho. And it was interesting watching when Mo was more over towards the left, and obviously, yes, that's his position. Positionally, he's going to be over on that side, but interesting to see, obviously, then that you move Ale over towards closer to where to where Lawrence Wyke is, and not having him where you're expecting Emi to rush up the field.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, right, it's, again, Jen in the chat, missing Pop was huge in my opinion. I mean, it's all of our opinions, right? He has been, and this, we'll get into this whenever the season ends, but right into, team awards and all that stuff. I mean, right, very much can be people's, not only newcomer of the year, but even MVP in many regards, right? He's been dominant all season. I think just what he brings is just kind of that safety net of whether it's his speed and his recovery and also just his decisiveness, a no nonsense. I mean, right, you can play revisionist history, you can play the what if game all you want, but I mean, it does stand to reason there, that third goal, right, going in over Mo Traore's head and everything like that. Again, there's no shout. It was, while it was a good ball in a sense. It's also just one of those you'd like to think the defense deals with, kind of a weird one there. And then, even fourth goal, right? Just kind of a backdoor header, stuff like that. I think just these little things, he gives you such a physical presence. So we will see. I mean, right, the chat, there's even some dichotomy there, right? Of like, fat kid, won't New Mexico be going for it too? Mixed squared right after, feel like we can pull one out in New Mexico. And listen, we're going to do the bigger, deep, dive preview of New Mexico later in the week. So I don't want to get too far ahead of it. But what I will say is, like, again, I did, Chad, I posed the question, Owen, right, of was this match, 4 goals in from Louisville, is that cause for concern? I mean, listen, it's not great. I mean, I'm not going to say 4 goals going in is going to help for team morale and everything like that, but New Mexico is a very different beast than Louisville. Again, Correct. This is an absolute juggernaut. Put it this way, if Louisville is not in the finals, there is nothing short of a clear-cut failure on their end.
Once again, and we spoke about this in midweek, Louisville's goal difference is right around where New Mexico's goals scored is.
4D.
Okay.
40 goal differential. Yeah, it's insane.
So just that's the context there. Louisville scores a lot of goals.
This was their, I think the broadcast said this was their 8th match this season at home where they've scored 4 or more. That's insane. They've only had 1 match at home. I think 1 or 2 matches at home where they've scored less than 2. Like, this is insane. Like, I also think you see playoffs come around. It's not saying teams are going to completely shift how they are, but again, teams tighten up, they play less expansive. Anyone can say that they won't. I don't buy it. It's the nature of what you do. It's much easier to say you're going to play expansive, flowing. We're not going to change our system when you're able to live to fight another day. We're able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that just doesn't always happen. So, right, again, that is something that might play in Rising's favor. But again,
I'll add on this one.
New Mexico preview.
I'll add on this as we're talking about, the way that they lost this one. I did ask Diego about if he's going to take any positives out of this game or if it's kind of one of those ones that you just choose to forget and move on. Let's have a listen.
No. We take positive. It's for nothing. Is the score taking anything away? It was a great challenge. We had it. We're gonna take the positive. We know what we need to keep working. We know things that we did really well today. Obviously, we wanted to win the game, and also know key moments. We were on the game, and then in that moment, in one play, great play, also good finish. We are out of the game, and this is something that we need to learn. Then the last minutes, we wanted to try to go and push a little bit, and last minute they got the goal in the corner, but that doesn't take that we're going to take positives from this game, and we are going to take things to improve and put it on next Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the goal, the Riding scored, I will take nothing away with it. I genuinely do believe that is, save it to the last regular season match. That really was one of the best team goals they have had all season. If they're able to do that more often, if they're able to strike in the playoffs, that's not unrealistic to say. That is a possible recipe for them, and especially knowing the nature of playoffs, it's very possible. I'll take nothing away from that. That was really, really nice, easy on the eye. Aside from that, I really don't know what you can take from a positive standpoint. I mean, right, he's gonna, maybe that's just media speak in that regard. I'm not sure, but just kind of knowing, kind of the context of this match, both from the eye test and the stat test, I disagree a bit. But listen, we'll talk more. We'll kind of, on the other side of the break, we will look at the stats, of course. On the other side of the break. Oh, yes. But, first got to tell you guys about our friends over at Branded Bills. Branded Bills, they got the nice hats, the little spice up your hat wear, make sure you look nice and all of that stuff. And easy way to do it, throw on a little Branded Bills on the top of your noggin. It's that darn easy to do. Again, go to brandedbills.com, promo code PHNX, again, PHNX, and save 20% off your first order with us helping you out. Listen, it's still a little sunny out there, right? Make sure you get something nice, fit that head of yours, right? They got the fitted rims, the trucker hats, the rope hats. You got the ASU hats, the U of A hats. You got Phoenix Suns hats.
Don't need to mention them.
I know we got to. I guess there's fans, but right, we got all these different hats. Licensed through Branded Bills. They have the Arizona State flag hats as well. They look so nice. They truly are the best hats to wear. They feel absolutely fantastic. Again, brandedbills.com, promo code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Branded Bills, Go get them. Put that cap on your cap. Okay, that sounded a lot better in my head. Oh, I'm gonna get away from that and go over our friends at Circle K. Circle K. They also, making you feel great with 79-cent Polar Pops. Any size foam cup for those Polar Pops, those Frosters. It's, again, cool down, man. You got them all throughout Arizona. They have them in New Mexico. They are everywhere throughout the country. They are
Again, there will be one right opposite where I'm staying in
darn right.
Albuquerque. So
You're darn right. They are America's
you have
first stop.
to swing over and
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. As Samantha, my fiance, is critiquing my ad reads in the other room, but Circle K, she can't be critiquing that because it is so darn refreshing. Check them out. Again, any size Polar Pop or Froster, 79 cents, 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups with the Inner Circle member program. It's that easy. All you need, just sign up with a phone number, download the Circle K app today, opt into the Inner Circle member program. It's that darn easy. Circle K, get it in ya, baby. Yeah, I said it. I know what I said. I stand by it. All right, listen. Let's go right over to.
Hang on a minute. Yeah. The name Sam is critiquing you from afar.
She is. She always critiques. She critique me from far, from close, everywhere. She keeps me honest. I appreciate that. That's why I love her. All right, let's take a look over at the.
We need to get Sam on the pod one of these days.
No, she's already been on the pod.
I know.
Presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes, Phoenix Rising. Uno, Louisville City, 4. We got an XG. It's I guess some of Louisville's chances, again, right? Weird angles, some of them far off. That header was kind of a little bit difficult. So relatively, I wouldn't say even, but it could have been worse. 1.13 XG for Rising, 1.83 for Louisville City. Possession hanging in the rafters. Possession FC does it again. 68% for Phoenix Rising, 32% for Louisville. Shots, it's a bit of a discrepancy. 9 shots for Rising, 25 for Louisville City, and shots on goal, 3 for Rising, 5 for Louisville City. So about 1 of every 3 shots for Phoenix Rising on target, and 1 out of every 5 shots for Louisville City on target. And yet, again, when 5 of your shots are on target for Louisville City and 4 of them are back of the net, it's not bad, is it, Owen?
Yeah, it's clinical. Again,
it is. I mean, listen, this is kind of one of those where I was gonna say that the stats very much kind of back up the eye test here. Of this was just an onslaught, right? I would imagine it had to be seeing it there in person, right? It very much felt that way on the broadcast that Phoenix got that first goal. It was only a matter of time when Louisville was gonna get their first, and it didn't stop from there.
No, exactly. I mean, look, when we look at things, I think big picture, you look at tonight's game, you look at where the clubs are at. It's intriguing to see. I think when you just take the comparisons of since that 2018 final when Rising and Louisville met, where both teams have gone. Now, obviously, Rising has actually won the playoffs in that stretch. Rising also, earlier on were a very, very good team, but they've just fallen off in recent years now, and it's 3 straight years of Rising finishing at best mid-table, but 2 of the 3 years have finished in the bottom half of the table, whereas Louisville are just a picture of consistency, playing in a nice big facility. I mean, you can see it behind me. Everyone knows that I think just from a stadium perspective, this is by far the nicest facility in the league.
It's beautiful.
The reason that they're hosting a women's national team match this coming week. Exactly. So,
yeah.
Look,
it's a nice team. They're asking if you tried the meal deal, by the way, $10 meal deal.
I didn't try that meal deal. No. I had a food here that was provided by the club.
Good man. Okay, fair enough. I mean, listen, Owen, the chat's down bad right now. We need a permanent stadium and Drogba as head coach. Calling for members of the front office to be out. They're also asking Drogba out of retirement. I think in a playing sense, we are down bad heading to the playoffs. Apparently,
everyone's feeling great, eh? Don't you love it? A happy time to be around this football club. Now, look. Here's what I'll say. We do need to put this again into the context that it.
We do love context.
Phoenix Rising are in the playoffs. They have done so with the lowest number of points per game that any team in the West has ever done so. This is the worst team out of the West to make the playoffs. Okay.
And is the worst overall to make the
Gone back
playoffs in all of
since
USL.
this season, yes.
Yes.
Detroit did it slightly worse last season.
No, as in this season.
I know, but this season, yes,
Yeah,
Rising are the lowest team in the playoffs. Yes, you've got the feel-good factor a little bit from last year. They went on a run last year. I am not expecting a run this year. I think there is a good chance that maybe they get something in New Mexico. These teams up at the top of the West, they are beatable.
They are.
As is evidenced by the form that they're on right now. But I don't think you can expect this team to just suddenly find another level like they did last year. Not least because this team hasn't really looked like the team of last year at all in terms of the way that last year, some of those wins they picked up, they just utterly dominated games. Now, we've very, very, very rarely seen that this year. They don't go out in the same dominant fashion that they did at times last year, even though the outcomes, last year wasn't quite the same. I'll add this as well, just for context here, because we do need to think about whether Phoenix Rising made the right decision or not in replacing Danny Stone with, obviously, Diego Gomez as the interim coach for the remainder of the season. Things we need to understand here. Danny Stone has now finished above this club. That's confirmed. They haven't even kicked off, but they're ahead. We know that. Danny Stone will be entering the playoffs with the highest seed. And despite the change being made and any positives that you may be able to take of, building up and seeing what you can do with this club under a slightly different system and all of that, they've now managed the same number of regular season games at this club and have the same number of points.
Yeah.
So while there are questions to be raised about the start of the season, we also have to remember the fact that the team hasn't truly improved since the decision to part ways with Danny Stone. They haven't been earning points at a higher clip. It's not happening. They are doing the same that they were doing before. So it is what it is. You move on and you hope, obviously, that they can step up in the playoffs. We know that there are winnable games in the playoffs. We know that some of these teams in the West are not that good. Louisville are a class above, I think, anyone in the West. I think we need to be clear.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Not even close. Not even close. I know that sometimes people don't like just basing things on the players' shield because obviously teams in the West and teams in the East don't necessarily play the same kind of schedule, and the West has got a tendency to kind of cannibalize its own, and has done.
Is this a stray at Miami FC? The Miami FC?
The Miami FC that lost 8-1 today. They lost 8-1 today, Max. Did you see that? Rhode Island put 8 on them.
Ew.
Did you even know that?
I knew. I mean, I saw it. I knew it wasn't good. I did. Oh gosh, no, I did not know it was that bad.
They scored 8.
Hey, they scored 1. Yay.
I believe the league record for most goals a team has scored in one game is 9. So,
spooky season is here. Oh boy,
Miami have now lost 8 games in a row as well.
Well, I mean, that kind of just goes to show. Well, no, it just kind of goes to show in the East. What I'm pretty sure that was the only club mathematically and by far eliminated going into today. So
Legion also couldn't have done it, even though
it. Yep.
Even though the league is doing its weird thing when they say
it is doing its weird thing. Yeah,
they were eliminated.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, listen, going back to what you're saying. I mean, right? It's interesting to know, right? Same amount of games and play with both. I mean, listen. And again, we can play the what if game. We can play the revisionist history all we want. I don't know how much more, better or worse, whatever this team is with Danny Stone at the helm. I mean, all I'll say is this. When they made the change, they were hoping for improvement. They were not going to say, wow, we're going to deem as success as getting into the playoffs as an AC. I mean, listen, it's better than, from their perspective, not getting in there in a way you could, they might be able to justify themselves. Oh, Diego Gomez steadied the ship, but I also just think this is not what they expected. This is not what they expected going in.
It's not what they'd have hoped for.
No, you don't make a change like this to just kind of maintain status quo, and that status quo was bottom of the West or 8th in the West. So we'll have to see. Right. It's a conversation for next week. Big Square in the chat. Doctor graduated last in their class. Still a doctor? ? I'd say so. Hey, listen, C's get degrees and Rising, it's like a C-, I guess, technically on the curve. Devin on the chat, Mbappe should join Rising next season. That makes sense. There you
No.
go. Okay.
I
Any
mean, you
particular
know,
players from Rising's perspective, right? I know we talked about Jearl
who have you
Margaritha.
given
We
man of
talked,
the match to? In fact, who was our producer Shane? I'm
yeah.
sure
See, that's
given
the
man
real
of the match
question.
to.
Yeah, that's.
Do we need to see that, please, Shane? You've
Oh,
given
dear,
it to a
dear
baby
God.
rhino that
Okay.
he's named Wesley. Okay.
It's so cute. It's
Thank
so cute.
you, Shane.
You look at it, he says. This is such a Shane thing. It is actually really cute,
That's such
Wesley.
a Shane
Wow.
thing.
Wow. That is baby rhino. Wow. That's
Right.
beautiful. Wow.
Well,
Other than Wesley, the cute baby rhino that we should look at. Anyone else that you would like to call attention to? Yeah. Nah.
not really.
I mean, right. I see Cy Lee in the chat. Rocco needs a bit more cover. Again, like here's the thing. I asked the question earlier. I'll kind of close it myself from that question standpoint. I think I'm not going to call this a one-off, but I think I am way less likely to read into this match if next week Pat Marboy is ready and available and starting for Phoenix Rising. If he is not, I'm terrified because, I mean, listen, it's not to say that they're devoid of talent. Again, it's not just been him all season. You have to have the rest of the back line step up as well. But he is the leader of the back line at such a young age.
Correct.
He is their best player back there. And you have seen,
Correct.
yes, this is a massive juggernaut in Louisville City, but this is not a one-game sample size. You have seen in other parts of the season where he is not available, they are not the same club. So even though
You
New
also
Mexico,
don't have.
I was going to
you
say, even
also
though
don't
New
have much
Mexico is
depth.
here and Louisville City is way up here, I just that does not have me sitting pretty if he's not available. If he's not practicing earlier this week, that gives me some hesitation.
You also don't have much depth. That's the problem
That's
with
it
John
too.
Stenberg
Yeah.
gone as well.
Yeah.
You need to bear in mind that then what you're looking at is you look at that back line, you're saying, okay, who could play in there? You're putting Mo Traore in there. You've got Alejandro
You got
Famayor.
JP.
That's fine. You got JP Skiers, who isn't really a centre back, but you can play him there if you have to.
Renzo put in like an emergency. Like,
But
I don't
see,
know.
what we're getting into now is just
I know.
taking
Yeah.
defensive midfielders and saying, you know what, you just drop them to the back. If that's not ideal. You can
No.
do it. I won't argue you can't do it,
Sure.
but you don't want to be in a position where you have to do that.
Right.
And the problem is if this game goes 120 minutes in Albuquerque next Sunday, yeah, you're going to have tired legs. You're going to want potentially people to rotate around. The pitch is what it is in New Mexico. Kind of the nature of these baseball surfaces. They are what they are. That can play into things and not in a positive way. We'll see. I mean, look, you know what? We're going to talk, I'm sure, all week long about the New Mexico game. Should we have a quick listen, very quick, from Diego Gomez and just his very first reaction?
Let's do it.
It's a match that we played recently, an opponent that we know. We went already there, so I think we have the confidence that we can do it again.
There we go.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree. It's not bad to have confidence. Again, we have seen all the time these top teams in the West, they absolutely can fall. I think the seeding, I'm not going to throw it out the window, but this does reset. In theory, it all is about what is your best next game. And I'm not trying to say that the momentum and all that doesn't matter. I will not be the one in any way to say draw parallels from last season because this is a very different team. This is a far worse team on the offensive side, better defensively in many aspects, but also depends on the players' availability, right? I will say this again, this club last season finished poorly and they ended up making a run. Not saying that's going to happen again. I will make sure to reiterate that is not saying that's going to happen again. But again, you just have to boil it down of, okay, you were 6th seed last year. You're now 8th. Got to go get it done if you want to keep going on. So we'll talk more about it next week and go from there.
Let's look at the scores around the league.
Let's look at the scores around the league.
Here we go. Earlier today, Charleston Battery 2, Loudoun United 1.
Battered.
Pittsburgh Riverhands 2, El Paso Locomotive 0.
Not good.
North Carolina 2, Las Vegas Lights 1.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Rowdies 3, Indy 11 0. FC Tulsa 2, Monterey Bay 1.
Barbecue.
Rhode Island 8, Miami FC 1.
How could Lionel Messi do that?
San Antonio 1, Detroit City 4.
Oh, whoa. Okay. So here's the thing.
And
Rising was fine because San Antonio lost. Let's go.
yeah, but
Boy,
it's
boy.
obviously a very different game
No,
knowing
I
they
know.
can't make the
I
playoffs.
say
That's the
that in
thing.
jest. I say that in jest.
And then
Just thankful,
latest
just thankful that
scores.
there was nothing serious on the line tonight. That would have been
Latest
wild.
scores. New Mexico United 1, Memphis 901 3, 67 minutes played. Oakland Roots 0, Birmingham Legion 1, 25 minutes played. Orange County 0, Hartford 0 after 23 minutes. And 20 minutes in, Sacramento Republic 0, Colorado Springs Switchbacks 0.
Okay, a lot of nils in the late score lines. I mean,
Well, that's because they're like 20 minutes in, Max.
hey man, hey, 20 minutes in, this match had almost 3 goals, so doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
what it
okay,
is.
guy. Well,
All right.
yeah, I guess well more to talk
Yeah, I
about.
mean, think about how many Rhode Island managed to score against Miami in a spell of 20 minutes at some point.
Oh dear gosh, that's absolutely terrifying. Well,
the first half hat trick in that one for JJ Williams.
Wow, that's something. There you go. That makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. How many different goal scorers did they even have? It doesn't even fit when I pull it up properly on my phone, all the goal scorers. There's so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goal scorers. So other than the fact that JJ Williams got 3 of them, everyone only scored 1 goal each.
Hey,
sharing the love. Sharing the love.
Sharing the love. Love that. Well, there you go. You know, we love sharing the love with our diehards. Become a diehard today. Go phnext.com. I see diehards in the chat here. We love you guys. Devin All, Siley, everyone in here. Appreciate you guys. Make sure we become a diehard today. It's pretty cool. Get to hang out, hang on Discord, everything that we got going on. Always some fun stuff. When word has it, you have a little, diehard type of playoff fantasy type of thingamabobber.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a prediction league type thing. Okay,
Yeah,
the full rules will come out on Tuesday on the pod on Tuesday. We'll go through the full rules for our little challenge we're doing there. What? Yeah, we're gonna pod on Tuesday this week. Yeah.
It is on Tuesday.
It's the week after that we're changing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I love
This
how we're
week it will
discussing
be
this
Tuesday,
live on the
Thursday.
pod. This makes for great content. Yes,
it does. I know the people love watching our admin.
I do. It's great. It's quite good. Yes, become a diehard today. Got some fun stuff for you. And with that fantasy or prediction contest or some fun name that we will call it, right? Diehards get a bit of additional stuff. And of course, as you look on screen, we have a limited time intro offer for $48. That is, doing the math, $4 a month to become a diehard. If you are not already one, it's great. Become a diehard. Again, limited time offer, $48, $4 a month for everything that we have to offer. Again, Owen's written content, right? Had one up, just posted an article the other day. Going to be doing stuff before New Mexico, I'm sure. Again, some fun stuff we have going on with our prediction game, a shirt that I'm repping as you can not see on screen because that's the graphic, but when it comes back, right, you got all kinds of fun stuff. Look at that. Boom t-shirt, really good quality. But yeah, check it out. Go phnext.com, become a diehard today. All right, buddy, we talked about a lot, and I know we're going to get into a lot on Tuesday. Anything else for the people in the meantime?
I think that's about it. We will see. We'll see what kind of team we'll see in New Mexico. But if you are looking at making the trip, again, remember, it is not on the Saturday. Don't make that mistake. The game is going to be played at 6 p.m. local time, which is also Arizona time because the clock's changed next weekend, on the Sunday game. Sunday evening, Rich.
Yes. And this is actually a good one. Fat Kid asking in the chat, is PHNX doing a watch party for the next game? All I'll say is this: be on the lookout at PHNX__rising. Going to have a couple conversations. Believe we have some friends who are able to make that happen. And of course, right, other people in the chat, right? There's a lot of other watch parties out there. Regardless on coming to ours or not, make sure to, go watch the game whether you're going there in person or not. But we will keep you posted on what we have going on.
If you are making the trip out to Albuquerque, give me a shout as well. Give me a shout. Drop into my DMs. Let me know your travel plans, and we'll
slide in those DMs. Yes.
Maybe see if we can.
Owen's buying beers.
No, I'm not buying beers, but maybe Max, we can have a chat and see. I don't know. Again, we'll have a chat about some things.
I don't like where this is going.
No, because I'm not expecting you to buy beers either. But let's have a chat when we finish up here, Max. Eh?
Phoenix Rising make a final, I'll buy beers, but I don't know.
I'm not. He's not buying beers yet. It's fine. Max is buying them when Rising loses, and we want to forget.
Owen's buying plane tickets.
Drink responsibly. Yes, that's true. But for me,
yeah, there it is. There it is.
All right.
Well,
I think we're getting into crazy hours now. So
we are in the nonsense hour. We love the nonsense hour. We'll appreciate everyone joining us.
Hour.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate everyone joining us here on the PHNX Rising post-game show. Leave a like, by the way. I know, Kyle's not in here. Yeah, Kyle's not in here demanding it, but I'll demand it. We'll all demand it. Shane will demand it. Owen will demand it. Everyone, leave a like, please. On your way out of here. It helps us out a lot. Of course, you can follow the show at PHNX__rising because _.
Double the trips to Albuquerque, apparently.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You can follow me on Twitter at David Simpson. You can follow Owen on Twitter at OJEvans18. He's not on here, but I'll still give him a shout. You can follow Like Reese at Reese11 _. You can follow producer Kyle, who's not producing right now. We can still follow him at KCoop Sports. And you can follow the beef behind the stash behind the Mac, Mr. Shane Diefenbach at Shane Dief on Twitter. But yes, appreciate everyone again. Back on Tuesday. It's playoff week. Smell it. Drink it in. Breathe it in. Smell that Albuquerque air. Make that drive over the state line. It's going to be great. Owen's second favorite place in the entire world outside of hanging out with your boy. It is Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're in there next week, but not before our show on Tuesday. And then our show on Thursday. It's a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when you have to play that song. You know what it is because you're playing New Mexico and what I've done. See you guys later.
We all silly like the mayor.